Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanim, and I have a good one for you today. Now, Ripple.com made a post about Nium, okay? They also made a tweet about Nium. That was the company that was building, that was utilizing Ripple for cross-border payments. Now, Nium was targeting B2B payments, B2B payments. Now we know B2B payments, and I'm going to put a little chart up here somewhere in the video, but we know B2B payments can go up to $150 trillion total. $150 trillion. We know they're slow. We have the solution, XRP holders, Ripple, Liquidity Hub, XRapid, things of that nature. We hold the solution. So Nium is another facet, I would say, of Ripple, or a company utilizing Ripple to access all of that money, which is very good. They've been expanding. That's amazing news. That's good news. We want that. Understand, a lot of companies fail. A lot of companies don't meet their goals. Nium has been exceeding their goals. This is very good. And this is going to take us a long way into this video. There is a lot we have to cover here. So let's just take a look here. It says, through Nium's use of Ripple in the Philippines and Mexico corridors, we have been able to eliminate pre-funding requirements and offer faster remittances at a lower cost. That's giving them one incredible advantage. Let's go just a little bit further here. Faster, more reliable payments worldwide. Within weeks of joining RippleNet, Nium began leveraging Ripple's advanced blockchain technology to process transactions in real time for its customers. That is key, because instead of waiting days, and not only that, sometimes the payments can get lost. All of that is negated when you're using Ripple. Nothing is lost. No data is lost. Data is also a problem. Data can be lost, and that can hold up some of the transactions. So all of that is negated. Also, you don't have all of these intermediaries. Most of the time they do it from, you send a payment, it goes to this bank, then to another bank, and to another bank, then it goes to where it's supposed to end up. Okay, the end receiver. That takes a lot. There's a lot of processes that go through that. There's a lot of eyes that have to be on that information. Ripple takes away all of that. So it allows us, at whatever point in the future that everything is fully up and running, to access a large portion of that B2B market, because we have a service that we offer, whether we're XLM holders, XRP, Algorand, we have a service that we offer that nobody else can match at this particular time. Of course, HBAR is right there with us, even though it's Hashgraph. It's one of us. We're deep in HBAR as well. So that's a lot of money on the table, and they've been expanding rapidly. It says this not only meant a faster, more reliable payments experience for its customers, it also amounted to significant offtake in the total volume of remittances. In just 5 months, most importantly, RippleNet helped Nium quickly increase the breadth and depth of its global payment services by connecting with new partners. Thanks to RippleNet, Nium is the first in the region to offer corridors from North and South America into a number of destinations in Southeast Asia. That's another thing. The gentleman in this video was talking about how they have, I didn't even know that they were operating in, I believe he said Brazil. Brazil is going to explode. You see all the bank coins there. They have, I believe, the biggest digital bank in Latin America is in Brazil. All of this information I'm saying, I hope that you research it, you look it up so you can see for yourself, and maybe you save some of those documents, keep them for future reference so you know what money is coming from where, what corridors are active. There's a bevy of reasons you might want to keep that information, in my humble opinion. So Nium is doing very, very big things, but let's continue on here. This is on Nium.com. So let's go over there, right? Scroll down a little bit. This is on one of their articles they have posted. It says, we've continued to hit over 2x year-over-year growth. That is good. Money, money, money. That means in the future, that money is going to be amazing. Now, this is only one company using RippleNet, just one. And this isn't even the biggest company. It's not even near the middle of the pack, but look at the money that they stand to bring in the future. Just think about that for a minute. Let me give you a number. It says, we continue to hit over 2x year-over-year growth, processing over US $8 billion in payments annually. That is very, very good for a company that is young in its processes. Think about that for a moment and understand that other companies who are already veterans, who will be just switching over systems to RippleNet and the liquidity hub, or rather they use it as a layer on top of their legacy system offerings. Either way, it doesn't matter. We stand to have exponential gains if everything goes according to plan, no matter how they use it. But those companies don't need to get a foot in the door, don't need to get a start. They'll just take off running because they already have partnerships, connections. They already have business flowing. And so even if it's a layer on top of RippleNet, a layer on top of their legacy system offerings, we're getting a piece of that money immediately. I think that's sort of why they term it as flipping the switch. I know it sounds funny sometimes. People say that. They take it as a joke, but I think there's a reason that they use that terminology. It just may not be widely understood by many people, but I think that's why. Because Ripple is establishing relationships with already long in the tooth banks, financial institutions, payment service providers. And so they don't need to get a foot in the door. They're just going to take off running. And so when they do take off running and money starts to flow in, it would sort of, in a way, be like flipping a switch. OK, I actually like that term. It's kind of fun. Now we have to move forward. OK, that's just where we're starting. Hang in there with me. I have a theory, a very good theory, I think. Now, here we have you know what, I was going to do an article. We'll save this article for last if we get to it, because I have bigger things right now in this video to cover. Now, this is from globenewswire.com about the B2B cross-border payments market. I've been talking about this since I came on YouTube. That is big money. $150 trillion, anywhere from $120 to $150 trillion is only going to be increasing. Now, why is it going to be increasing? I believe they're going to tell you in this article, but let me say this first. It's going to be increasing because now that they want to do this whole globalist thing, right? Whether you agree with it or not, if they're able to implement and continue to implement this globalist idea, that means more countries are going to be doing business with each other. That means bigger money is going to be flowing across borders. It's just going to continue to expand. It's going to continue to explode. And if that happens, then XRP, if it is the chosen protocol, the chosen one, as a lot of us believe, and I believe all the bank coins are chosen ones. They're all one interoperable system. They've told you that out of their own mouths. But those prices, XRP, XLM, Algorand, should theoretically, no guarantees, theoretically explode. That is very exciting in my humble opinion. Now, remember, we're not putting prices on this, but I mean, you could do the mathematics yourself. I encourage that. Look at the numbers, $150 trillion that, you know, even if we take a modicum of that, I would rather take a big chunk of that. And I think we can. I think we can dominate that market. But let's read this little article here on globenewswire.com, which is supplied by Vantage Market Research. OK, sorry about that. My computer's like down here. That's why I have to look sometimes. I forget to like expand the computer screen. Here we go. It says increase in export and import goods and services across the world and rising expansion of trades globally has fueled the demand for B2B payments among firms. Didn't I just say that? I just said it. That sounds so good. I mean, I hope you guys understand what that means. That means that money, as I stated last year, that money will continue to get bigger and bigger, which is why, you know, we're going on theory here. We're just building here. You know, hypothetically speaking, XRP's price could continue to steadily. It won't be unstable, but it will steadily continue to go up, even at a high, even when it reaches what people believe to be a high, because the money would only be increasing over the years out of necessity of a globalist system that is going to increase the money that is flowing around the world from business to business. Man, now keep in mind, that doesn't even include the interbank payments. It doesn't even include that, and that price would explode. Now, let's continue reading on here. It says, furthermore, businesses look forward to deal with the different countries for their expansion, which boost the cross-border business transactions. So now we're looking at not only a high price, right? That's a high average transaction volume moving across the XRPL. So you have a high average transaction volume, possibly, and then you have a high amount of outright volume. You put those two together, that price goes up. Raise it toe, raise it toe. I did it quiet this time, but that price would raise. They're telling you right here, you're getting it from the professionals. Now, I'm not saying myself, I'm talking about these sources, okay? In addition, increase in usage, although I do consider myself a professional. In addition, increase in usage of technology in B2B payments and rapid development of the domestic SMEs and medium-sized companies engaging into massive trades acts as the key driving force of the global B2B payments market. Technology. What technology are they talking about? Blockchain. Hashgraph is in there, but it's not as popular. Okay, so we're just going to say blockchain. Distributed ledger technologies. And when they say DLT, listen, we're going to go straight to blockchain. They are the ones. Algorand, Ripple, Stellar, Cello. They are the ones that are dominating when it comes to trying to push forward technologies to better the cross-border payments markets. Okay, on every level, B2B, bank to interbank payments, customer to customer, customer to business, business to customer, B2C, all that stuff. They're the ones doing all of that. So they are the technologies that they're talking about here. This is an amazing time to be alive, in my humble opinion. Don't get me wrong. This is harsh times. But like I said, we have to make it through the darkness first before we see the light. But when you make it through that darkness, I can assure you, have you ever been in a dark room before? And then you walk into another room, there's light and it's so bright. It just seems much brighter than usual. That's how it is. Get ready and prepare for your brightest light if you can make it through the darkness. Let's continue on here. Here we get to this chart here this is from Statista.com. One of my favorite sites when I want to get some solid stats. We've gone to this site many times before in the channel when we used to do surgical videos, okay? Now, value of B2B, B2C, C2B, and C2C cross-border payments worldwide from 2016 to 2020 with forecasts for 2021 and 2022. Look at the amounts on here. Look at this. B2B is this is the projection for 2022, $150.7 trillion. That is good money. Those are the pieces of the world that we're trying to tap into. Those are the sectors we're trying to tap into. XRP, XLM, Algorand. That money, even a modicum of it. What does even a modicum of that? If we take a small part of that, what does it do to that price? Think about that for a moment. C to B, any of these are good. Any of these. C to B is $2.8 trillion. This is what we're talking about here. When we're talking XRP, we're talking big money. This is what we're talking about. These are facts. This is from Statista.com. Bad day to be a futter. Bad day to be a futter. B to C, $1.6 trillion. You mean to tell me that's not worth waiting for? I can't tell the people out there what to do. I'm not here to do that, but I know what I hold. 100% I know what I hold. I'm not going anywhere. Even it doesn't matter what the people do. I respect any decision that people want to make, but the facts remain the same. They don't change. C to C, even C to C is $0.8 trillion. I'm just going to put it that way. I know I could have put that a better way. Somebody's in the comment section. They always do that when I read the numbers a peculiar way. They get in the comment section and correct me. Well, look, you're pretty much a part of the channel. Just tell the people how you would say the number. Oh, man, I appreciate any help that I get. Listen, I make mistakes. I say things. Well, that wasn't really a mistake, but it's like just a little bit peculiar how I said it. But I'm going to keep it in the trillions. Look, you didn't have to say 0.8 alpha Nium. I know. I say a lot of things, but keeps it interesting, doesn't it? Now, let's move on here. Let's move on. We still didn't get to that article yet. We may not, because I have too much big stuff to get around. Listen, this is an article, not article, my apologies. This is a PDF from the PSR Access and Governance Report on Interbank Payment Systems. I just want to read this little tidbit here. This is background section 3.1 and 3.2. It says, wait. Let me say something before I read this. Now, earlier in this document, they were talking about, and now I want to get into my theory, okay? Earlier in this document, they were talking about how in the past, and we're talking about recent, I mean the last, like, I believe it's the last 4 to 5 years, maybe. You can read the document. I'll post it in the members only tab, so you can read that. But I believe it's the last 4 to 5 years. Before that, mostly only banks and governments had access to interbank payments. Only, I want to emphasize that, governments and banks had access to interbank payments. Now, there has been an increase in them allowing PSPs, payment service providers, to participate in interbank payments. One of those, obviously, one of those payment service providers is Ripple. They have so many banks signed up, so they're in there, right? Now, let me read this a little bit and then I'm gonna go on with my theory. I'm just gonna throw a theory out there. It's something I've been thinking about. 3.1, a PSP has direct access to an interbank payment system like CHAPS, BACS, ICS, and faster payments. If it has a settlement account and its own facility to connect directly to the central system. Annex 1 details different ways PSPs can access interbank payment systems. 3.2, up until 2018, all direct participants, here we go. Up until 2018, people, keep that in mind. This is going to be key to my theory. You let me know what you think about this theory. I could be completely wrong, but when I lay it on you, I'm going to lay it heavy. Up until 2018, all direct participants in interbank payment systems were banks or building societies. That's it, period. That's where they ended, period. Banks or building societies. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Ripple is not a building society. What is it? However, it says after the change to the Bank of England settlement policy in 2018 and advances in direct technical connections, it became possible for non-bank PSPs to apply for direct access. They have no choice because they need the technology. They see what's on the horizon. They see how much money they can make. They see how much money they can save. They don't really have a choice. So they had to allow them, individuals like Ripple. This meant non-bank PSPs could also offer agency access. Here's my theory. Okay. What's the likelihood? I just want to put this idea out there. What's the likelihood that in the future, and keep in that in the future, Ripple could become a bank and that we are all holding a piece of a literal banking supervisory entity in the future, a future ECB, BIS-like corporation? What's the likelihood of that? What's the likelihood of that? Think about that for a minute. Now, you may have some questions. Let me put some answers out there just in case I can answer some of those questions. It said, typically only banks get that kind of access. What's the likelihood? Look, Ripple can have a location, a business location anywhere in the world. United States, Europe, Africa, China. They can apply in any of those jurisdictions, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Someone will correct me in the comment section, and I'm always willing to learn. And you know what? I'll take that information and it will help me in the future. I'm going to use it. It's going to help me in the future. I'm going to give you an example. I'll give you an example. I think it's highly possible they can become a bank. Not just a bank, a supervisory entity, because by nature, that's what they do. They have to make sure the data that they transfer is always accurate, is always on time. Make sure the technology is on time. They have to check in with all of the institutions that are utilizing RippleNet and the liquidity hub. They have to tell them how to use it, when there's going to be an upgrade. They are a supervisory entity at that point. If there's policy changes when it comes to crypto, they have to update them, because not all policy changes are going to be big enough to make the news. So now you have to put together briefings to give briefings to the other banks, commercial, central, whatever. They could be a supervisory entity. Now, granted, you can be a supervisory entity without being a bank. But I want to put something out there for a moment. This is on upflip.com. This is a case example, right? I want you to just hear this. It says, Bank of America is a global giant with 66 million customers and operations in 35 countries worldwide. But like most multinational corporations, Bank of America's story of success began with a single founder with a vision. Bank of America actually started as the Bank of Italy. It started small. As the Bank of Italy, surprisingly enough, when Italian immigrant Amedeo Giannini founded the bank in San Francisco in 1904. Gianni's objective was to offer banking services to other Italian immigrants and to middle-class Americans, the unbanked at the time, the ones who may not have had access for a myriad of reasons, and to middle-class Americans who were often denied accounts. What I just say? Unbanked. Sound familiar? Denied accounts by larger financial institutions of that time. Sound familiar? I think it does. I think we're onto something. Providing banking for customers who didn't already have it was the need Gianni's new bank met. It says, your startup bank may never reach those heights, but this is about startup banks, but the Bank of America's story is proof that a broad, bold vision backed up with excellent customer service and exemplary corporate management can help a new bank transcend humble origins and become a dominant industry player. So Bank of America itself, who has a great deal of experience with Ripple, right? They've worked with Ripple many times, started out the same way as Ripple. Now, some of you might be wondering, what does it take to start a bank, Alpha Neem? I'm going to tell you what it takes to start a bank. It's not that complicated, right? We're going to go with three of these top sources here. This is also from Upflip. How to start a bank, the complete 7-step guide. Let's just go 1 through 7. Know the business, write a business plan, raise capital. Ripple can do all of that, has done all of that, right? Get a charter, apply for FDIC approval, check for any other, I wouldn't think that. There's so many, we need regulatory clarity so bad, we do. But wait and see what happens when we do have regulatory clarity, sorry about that. Step 6, check for any other necessary permits, and 7, get customers. We know Ripple has customers. But like I said, it depends on what type of bank they might become or what type of supervisory entity they might become. I think at the least they will be a supervisory entity, in my humble opinion. It's inevitable. They have to be. They're going to have too much power, too much money if everything goes according to plan, which will make XRP explode, by the way. So they definitely will have capital. That's another reason why they need XRP to explode, which benefits all of us, because they need that capital to be dominant and do whatever it is they need to do. All right? To ensure their success, and they're a for-profit company, so they want to make lots of money. So them bringing in the money also brings us in the money. So here we go. So that's on Upflip. Then we go here. This is how to start an LLC.com. It says, can anyone start a bank? Banks generally need $12 to $20 million in starting capital. Oh man, come on now. That little bit of money, that's not a lot, right? It's not a Ripple has much more than that. If you start a local community bank, you might be able to raise that money locally. Ripple has that kind of money. So the money is not an issue for starting a bank. Let's go here. Okay, let's get a little bit more. You might say, let me get a little bit more of a reputable source from you, Alpha Neem. Okay, well, what's more reputable than the Federal Reserve.gov? I don't know why I said it like that. Sometimes I'm just like having too much fun. It says, how can I start a bank? This is from the Fed. It says, starting a bank involves a long organization process that could take a year or more and permission from at least two regulatory authorities. We're battling a regulatory authority right now, but there's others that we could get permission from that are favorable towards Ripple. But we have to get through this battle first. This battle with the SEC is holding a lot of things back, but I'm going to leave you with that. We didn't even get to the article. I think we did good enough. I think this was a solid video. If we're holding what I think we're holding, and I could be completely wrong. Fine with that. But if you look at all the pieces falling into place, it seems that at the least Ripple might become, out of necessity, a supervisory entity. They have the power and they have to update everyone. They have to control the systems. I mean, they will disseminate the information on how to remain in compliance moving into the future, because they will be the direct contacts, I would believe, from all of the governments around the world about how they use RippleNet. And then as they alter the way that they use RippleNet, if regulations change, if compliance standards change, which is definitely possible, hopefully not too much, but they would have to disseminate that information to everyone else, right? And that's just a few I can think of right now in the moment. But if we're holding what I think we're holding, I said this before, I think XRP is bigger than what most people are thinking. I really do. Look at everything that they're in. Look at that money, trillions upon trillions upon trillions. Every market they go into has trillions of dollars that they can scrape up. When they're ready to roll everything out, I don't know how long it will take. I won't say that. I know Bank of International Settlement said 3 to 5 years. You have the Fed now. What was it? Was it the Fed? Somebody recently said 5 years again. Ripple itself said 4 years. So I don't know. I just know that I know what I hold, and what I'm looking at here could be bigger than what most people expect. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.